everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've all had an amazing week. So on today's video, I'm doing this look using scar wax. So this looks pretty gory and very effective, and it is actually quite easy. So hope you like this look. So we're just gonna get started. I do have my makeup done normally, and I'm using the Bennye nose and scar wax, and this is a really good scar wax. It's not too hard, not too soft, so it's perfect to work with. I've worked with different scar waxes before, and I find that this one is super easy. The ones that are softer and easier to mold are much easier to work with. So I'm actually using the Maybelline Grippy Primer underneath as a base to make it like stick. You should use spirit gum, and I do find that this would have been so much easier for me if I did use spirit gum, because it makes the skin super tacky, so it's easier to stick onto. But I just used my Grippy Primer for Maybelline instead. And what I'll do is I'll warm up the wax in my fingers and make a long little like worm, and then press it on my forehead. And as you can see here, I'm just blending it in with my finger and really pressing it into the skin. It's funny because the forehead one that I did was so much easier than the one on my cheek and my chin, but I'm thinking maybe because it's a harder surface, and like with my cheek and chin, and when I talk it moves around more, so I found that it cracked and came off much more easily. But the forehead one was super easy. So as you can see here, I'm just using my fingers to blend the edges. Don't worry if it's not super perfect, because you will be covering a lot of this with eyeshadow and scab blood anyway. So I'm pressing both sides. It took a little while to work it into the skin. You just want this on really well because it will come off otherwise. I also use the spatula to press down the edges and really just blend it in as much as I can. This takes a little bit of fiddling around, but once you do it right, it's really good. You can also do this look with liquid latex as well, which I have done. I did it last year, so if you do prefer liquid latex, then you can do that as well. I find that liquid latex is a little bit trickier because you do have to cut through it with scissors, so if that sounds really scary to you, then this scar wax technique is probably much better. So what I do is I put some concealer on to match it to the color of my skin. I found that I didn't really need to do this because the scar wax that I got here from Bennye was already a fair skin color, so really helped. And I'm just setting that concealer with powder. But like I said, you probably don't need to do this step. I did not do the step for the cheek and the chin one. And just to match it to my skin even more, because I am wearing bronzer and do have a fake tan, I put on some bronzer on top of it, and as you can see, it suited the skin so much better. So now what I'll do is I'll take a spatula and I will put a line through it. You don't want to drag the spatula through because you have the risk of ripping off the scar wax from your face, so you just want to like press it into the skin and make a slit. And as you can see here, it already looks creepy. So I'm taking some face paint, some black face paint. If you don't have face paint, you can use a black eyeshadow, works just as well. This is water activated paint, so you just swirl it around in water and dip it in, and I put that in the cut and it looks like a deep wound. I'm taking this SFX Mastery palette from Body Effects, which is amazing for any special effects look. And I'm taking the black eyeshadow and also some red and blue tones and some other red tones, and just putting this on around the wound with an eyeshadow brush. So this is just going to make it look like it's an old wound. It's getting all bruised, it's all tattered, and this just makes it look more effective. And this also covers the edges as well. If your edges of the scar wax isn't looking super blended, this just kind of covers it anyway and disguises it into the skin. I just use my finger to blend it in. And now this is also from Bennye. This is thick blood. They also have scab blood, which is probably a little bit thicker than this, but I actually prefer this thick blood because it's not too thick. I find that scab blood can dry up really easily. And this was a little bit more of a thinner consistency, which was a little bit easier to work with. So I just put that into the wound with a spatula. And then any edges where it's like looking hunky, looking a bit awful, I just put it on those edges, and then I'm putting it on the edge of the wound, like on the inside, as you can see here. So just want to work blending that into the skin. and disguising it. And yeah, that's the forehead one done. So now I'm just scraping out some more scar wax. This cheek one, must I say, was super hard. I actually did this twice. So this footage here that I'm filming is actually the second time I had to do it. So I'm rolling the scar wax into a worm, and the best thing to do is really warm this up in your hands in a ball beforehand, because this just, yeah, warms it up, softens it up, and makes it easier to work with. So yeah, as you can see here, self-explanatory, but it was actually so hard off camera. Like, I took so long to stick this to my skin, and being honest, it kept coming off at the end of the video when I was filming tutorials. I guess because I was talking a lot and my cheek was moving and it just made it come off. But the forehead one was just so good. I don't know how I did that one so much better. So same process, sticking it on, really blending it in with the fingers, using the spatula to really flatten the edges and make a cut line through that scar wax, where you'll put the paint and the scab blood. You just want to go through really slowly because you do have a risk of scraping it off, so that's why I keep blending it back down with my fingers. And same technique here, I use the same palette and put on the black, red and blue tones to make it look like bruising around the wound, and a great way to cover up any lighter areas or any edges that were like sticking up and stuff. But anyway, I find this look really good to do for Halloween. You can add it to any Halloween costume if you want, or you can just add it to anywhere on your body. You can add it to your arms, your legs, your hands, your neck, and this can make any Halloween look super creepy. And it's great to prank people as well with, because it actually looks super realistic in real life. And when I film this online, like these kind of looks, people think it's a filter, and then I like move the wound flaps and then people freak out that it's actually like it looks so real, and it's actually like either liquid latex or the scar wax. So as you can see here, I'm just putting more thick blood around the edges, and I kind of wanted to make it look more gruesome, so I made my eyes look bruised. So I blended the purple and the red tones underneath my eyes and just kind of made it look like I've got a black eye and I'm really tired. And yeah, it's crazy how realistic this looks. Like I had big bags, which is actually probably realistic in real life. Like I do have very big dark under eye circles that I cover with concealer, so it's like adding those back on again. And now time for the chin one, which actually was the hardest one. And I think it's because I kept talking to my partner Matthew, so it kept coming off. And I don't think I warmed up the wax enough in the beginning, which is essential. And like I said, if you have spirit gum, please buy that and lay it down on your skin first, because it's going to stick so much better. So yeah, those would be my top 2 tips. This look actually took like 3.5 hours, which is way longer than it should have. The forehead one was super quick. The cheek one and the chin one just gave me grief. Like in this video editing, it looks like it was super easy, but being honest, it gave me grief and it took me so long. Same process for the chin. Lay it down flat, cover it with bronzer to match the skin tone, really blend it into the skin with your fingers and the spatula and make that slit line with the spatula. And then put the black paint on the inside of the cut, and it makes it just look really realistic. I find that scar wax probably looks a bit more realistic than liquid latex if you do blend it into the skin really well, like the forehead one, because liquid latex can be really messy and it sticks up and you can see the edges. Like, yeah, you can cover the edges with scab blood, similar method, but yeah, I don't know, I think it looks a little bit more realistic. But if you want to move around the flap and scare everybody, I think the liquid latex technique is probably better because it's stuck on even more. You can also put a layer of liquid latex on top of the scar wax if you like to make it last even longer. So here's the finished makeup look. It looks super creepy, super effective. As you can see, the middle one on my cheek kind of split. So yeah, I did what I could. But this is the finished look. I hope you like it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me, and I'll see you guys in my next week's video.